Can a car door actually save your life? We have all seen the Hollywood movies where a bullet gets deflected or completely stopped by a car door, whether it's Breaking Bad or the Avengers. Today we are going to see if that is actually possible. We have 4 car doors lined up here that we stole from our local Walmart parking lot. We will be shooting them with higher and higher caliber bullets to see which rounds the doors are able to stop. And if the rounds just go straight through the car door, we will then shoot it at an angle to see if they are able to bounce off. We'll be setting up John Pork behind the doors to see if he will survive. Starting off with something most of you have probably never seen before, and that's 22 shot shell. I'm very interested to see how this does, because for those of you who don't know, 22 shot shell, also known as snake shot or rat shot, is basically a shotgun round for a 22. It's packed full of number 12 BBs, 160 of them to be exact. I have a feeling this is just going to bounce off and come straight back at me. Alright, loading up our shot shell in our Ruger 1022. We'll be starting off just shooting the red door. Alright, firing. Our red door, look at that. BBs just bounced straight off. We have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32.
Looks like there's about 100 BBs in that shot shell. Bounced off, made a couple little dents. You'd still be alive. All right, next up is our 22LR subsonic. These ones are traveling at just 710 feet per second. So I don't think they're making it through the door, but let's find out. All right, again, loading up our Ruger 1022. Firing. Looks like our subsonic round made it through the door, surprisingly. Let's see if it made it out the other side. All right, look at that. 22 subsonic did not make it out the other side. So it went into door number 1 and stopped in door number 1. John Pork, still alive. All right, now moving on to the rounds that actually have a chance of going through more than one door. We lined up all 4 doors here to simulate 2 cars. So car 1, driver door, car 1, passenger door, car 2, driver door, car 2, passenger door, and John Pork. Now loading up our 22LR supersonic. So I think it's gonna go through door number 1 and get caught in door number 2. Firing. I put it just to the left of the subsonic, so there's our 22. It's a bigger hole than I would have imagined. Clean hole. In door number 1. Did not make it out of door number 1. That is actually very surprising. 22 made it into door number 1. So if someone's shooting at you with the 22LR, you're gonna be completely safe if you're in your car, as long as the bullet hits the door, not the windows. Next up is our round of 12 gauge birdshot. Will it go through the doors? Let's find out. Firing. Look at that damage. That is very surprising. Most of the BBs did not make it through. I see one here that made it through. Another one cracked it. 3 made it through, but for the most part, they bounced off. Yeah, that blows my mind. I don't understand how that happened. Door 1 is intact. The back side has no damage on it. And window on door number 2 is shattered. Hopefully we can see in the slow-mo how that happened, but that blows my mind. All right, next up is our 9mm hollow point out of our bolt action MP5. I'm going to aim a little bit lower to the left on the door. Firing. Entered in door number 1. Did it go through door number 1? Yes, it did. Exit on door number 1. Entrance on door number 2. Exit on door number 2. Entrance on door number 3. Exit on door number 3. That is covered in ants. Look at all those ants. Bounced off door number 4. Can we find our bullet? Full metal jacket 9mm going into our bolt action MP5. Firing. 9mm full metal jacket, entrance into door number 1, through door number 1, through door number 2, into door number 3, and looks like door number 3 stopped our 9mm full metal jacket. All right, this is really good information to know, especially if you live in Chicago or Brampton. All right, next up is our 5.7x28 out of our Dark Mountain Arms stowaway with something on the front. Here we go. Firing. The 5.7 obviously went into door number 4 because this window was rolled down and the glass broke. Next up is a round of 223, and this is not an AR-15 since it is not as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving.
I've held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I had it. It is as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving.
All right, the 223, I think it's going through all 4 doors and hitting John Pork. Let's find out. Firing. I know that this is our 223. Obviously went through door number 1, exit door number 1, into door number 2. It did not exit door number 2. As you can see, there's still only 3 exit holes. All right, next up is our 5.56 green tip with the steel core penetrator. So it should, in theory, go further than the 223. All right, firing. So this is our 5.56 green tip into door number 1, exit door number 1, keyholed into door number 2. So that means it went sideways into door number 2. Look at that keyholing. You can see the exact shape of the bullet on the exit of door number 2. Into door number 3, still keyholing. Look at that big Batman wound it left on the exit of door number 3. Nothing on door number 4. So it went through 3 doors and bounced off door number 4. All right, next up is our round of double aught buck out of our Mossberg 590. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like about half of them exited door number 1 and entered into door number 2. They did not exit door number 2. Door number 2 is clean. So double aught buck goes through 1 door and into door number 2. Note to self, do not pick up a door with a broken window. All right, next up is our round of 7.62x39 out of our fully semi-automatic SKS. Firing. I know that this is our SKS entrance into door number 1, and it entered into door number 2. Looks like it was keyholing, so take a look at this. There's our 5.56 keyholing. There's our 7.62x39, completely sideways. Entered into door number 3, exited door number 3, right below our 223. Looks like it entered into door number 4, off the back of door number 4. You could see the bulging on the outside of the door, but did not exit. And John Pork is still alive. All right, moving up to our 12 gauge slug. Based on the last video, I predict this will stop in door number 2. Firing. Look at that massive entrance. I think that is our wad up here hitting the door, and this is our actual slug. Entrance into door number 2, and I believe here is some of our slug. Let's see if I can get this out. So exit door number 2, entrance into door number 3, flip that over, exited door number 3. Some of it went into door number 4, and it did not exit door number 4. All right, now we're going to be shooting the door with the 22 at about a 45-degree angle and see if it can bounce off and hit John Pork, or will it just go right through the door? Let's find out. Firing. All right, so it looks like the 22 did not bounce off the door. It just went straight into the door. This time, basically, as shallow of an angle as we can get on the door with 22 LR. All right, that was a success. The 22 bounced off the door, deflected this way, but did not hit John Pork. All right, next up, 9mm at the door at about a 45-degree angle to begin with. All right, looks like the 9mm went straight into the door. Let's try again at a shallower angle to see if we can make it bounce off. All right, loading up the 9mm at a shallower angle. So the 9mm and both the 22 went into the door at about a 45-degree angle. When we moved it down to about a 15-20 degree angle, they both seemed to bounce off the door. All right, 7.62x39, again, out of our SKS. 45-degree angle, will it bounce off the door? Goes into the door when we shoot at about a 45-degree angle. Now let's see what happens at a shallower angle. All right, now for the grand finale, we're just gonna mag dump 5 rounds of 7.62x39 at a shallow angle into the door and see if any can bounce off and hit John Pork. Here we go. Look at the smoke. Can you see that? That's quite a substantial amount of smoke. All right, no, it looks like 3 or 4 of them went into the door and 1 or 2 of them bounced off and hit our target. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impacts on our target, but some of those were from the previous rounds. One of them almost hit John Pork in the head. All right, so what did we learn today? We learned that bullets go through car doors and bullets bounce off car doors. And we learned that John Pork survived. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, just for fun, I'm loading up 5 rounds of rat shot, and we're gonna mag dump it at that door to see how much damage we can do. They don't cycle that well, so I might have to manually cycle the gun. 5 rounds of rat shot versus car door. Okay, take a look at this malfunction. failure to eject, second round of rat shot jammed itself into the first one. So look at that damage rat shot round. That's what I'm talking about. They don't cycle that well.